Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my Dragon Quest VI 100% walkthrough. Here we will enter the Sea of Nothingness with an orb we got from the sage at the Gallows Moor. Joining us today on this journey is Skyzo. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hello, YouTube.
Now to visit the Prison of Sorrow.
I know we're not going to be fighting Mortimer this episode, but I wonder if we're going to get to see him.
No, but you'll see him next episode.
Okay.
Also, these guys are called Isaac and Benjamin in the remakes, this guy being Isaac, so I'll probably call him that for the duration of this episode.
Isaac, okay. I haven't seen the sprite for that enemy before.
Pretty cool looking, eh?
Looks like a giant statue.
Also, I love just how often this theme plays now that we're in the demon world. It really sets the atmosphere.
It's a good theme, I like it.
And here's what I was telling you about last episode. You know who he is, don't you?
Yes, I think I do.
So, they want Isaac's power, which is why they don't just kill the guy, which would probably be more practical, but Mortimer is nothing if not ambitious. Also typo, way are you going to do, great sage? And, they're just gonna show his brother dying over and over again until he submits.
Right.
So, back to the prison of Gallows Moor. Still dead silence, because the music cut out.
What was that, like, the little pillar of light that was surrounding him?
It was a barrier he set up around himself to protect himself from Mortimer's magic. It's why he's not turned to stone as well.
Oh, wait, now that you mention it, how come we haven't been turned to stone as well?
I think he was sort of I think the idea is that we were deep in the cellars. We weren't above ground like all the others were. That, or the goddess was protecting us, or maybe Benjamin cast a spell on us. I feel like they explained that somehow. I just don't remember what it was.
Okay, so that's implying that magic is like a radio wave, right? That's has physics and whatnot.
Could be. Like I said, I don't want to fully commit to that explanation because I don't fully know if I'm remembering right. It's actually part of why the recaps are so good, because I'm discovering and remembering all kinds of details that I hadn't before. They take a while to do, but they sure are worth it.
Okay, fair enough. So we're seeing the flashbacks, right?
No, just visions, because the two brothers are still alive. It's just, this is all in his mind. And unfortunately, he is about to buckle. He is just about to swear loyalty to Monsterkind. But fortunately, we arrive! Benjamin is here, and he is alive and well.
Okay, so just in time to not seal the pact.
Yep.
It's kind of confusing that they both look the same.
I get they're twins. In fact, they literally have Wonder Twin powers. It's more or less how the game describes it, even if it's not in those exact words.
Oh. Okay, never mind. That makes sense. I thought it was like a sprite limitation.
Also, Bello and Cabot. Bello is on the left and Cabot is on the right. They actually have pretty amusing personalities, even in the fan translation. Like, they speak all very politely and eloquently, and they get confused, and one of them's like, brother, they're kind of invading the dream now. What do we do? He's like, I don't really know. But we need to attack them, like, right now.
Are you gonna fight them?
Yep.
Okay.
I wonder if their names are a reference to something in Japanese.
I mean, it has to be, right? That's just how the language works.
Maybe. Anyways, let's talk about these guys. They're actually fairly unexceptional. Most of their attacks are just basic melee attacks, and they go by a completely fixed pattern. Like, they have 5 to 6 attacks in their pattern, and they will always follow it to the letter. So, Zuikaku, or Bello, he has that dangerous rock throw attack, or rock slide, that hits everyone for like 90 to 110, but the thing of it is, he only does that once every 6 turns, and then switches back to basic melee attacks. So, it's not actually a threat. And then, Cabot, he sticks mostly to melee attacks too. He can do a souped up one after he uses focus strength, and that can do something. But other than that, he's not so bad either. In fact, one of his actions in the AI script is literally to just stand around not knowing what to do. Like, it literally is described exactly like that, and he just wastes his turn.
I mean, that's staying true to his personality, at least.
Indeed. So, first we want to beat up Bello, because, actually, why do we do that again? I think it's because he knows selflessness, and he'll cover for Cabot if we try to get him first. Or at least he will occasionally, so it's slightly faster to beat up Bello. And plus he's got that annoying rock throw move, which, no, it's, again, not bad, but it can do a lot of damage. Like, I still need to switch Terry to the Platinum Male, and then... Actually, no, I didn't. I just had Rex go first. Never mind, then. Yeah, this is pretty simple.
I was gonna mention the rock throw as a reason for killing him first.
It's definitely an incentive. I don't... Like, again, he only does that like once every 5 or 6 turns, so it's not that bad, especially with the Sage's Stone. But I guess that is one of the incentives, too.
Now, one question that I have on the world of this game is that usually you have an origin for the monsters, like the humans and whatnot, like the origin of the species, so I imagine that Mortimer has something to do with that.
You know, I don't think the world ever explains where monsters came from. They're just sort of part of the Dragon Quest world. They don't come from Mortimer, I can tell you that much. He's just another monster that just was really, really, really evil and grew really, really powerful. He didn't come from anywhere special or create anything special. He's just a bad guy as far as this world is concerned.
But then, how did he get so strong?
Not really sure.
I thought it was like a god or something.
Is he a god? No, I think the only god that well, I mean, Mortimer wants to think of himself as a god, obviously, but the only character that's actually confirmed as a god of anything, aside from like the goddess and Rubus and all that, is the guy called Nocturnus. He is like the ultimate monster, the one that everyone fears. And fortunately, he's not concerned with taking over the world, so we don't actually have to fight him in the main story. He's just an optional super boss for a lot of the other games. Also, here are their Wonder Twin powers.
So, what are they doing?
They're knocking Mortimer's castle off its perch so we can enter it.
That is pretty cool, actually. Didn't expect this.
You can see why they were such a threat to monster kind.
Who even are these people? The twins?
They're sages.
Yeah, but like, I guess in the origin of them, I don't really know much about them.
I'm not sure I know much about them either. Maybe I'll find something in the recaps, but as far as I can remember, they're just two really strong people that when they're together, they can do stuff like that. Now, their powers are drained, though. They're not doing that again. In fact, Millie has a funny quote about that in the party chat. They're like, "Our powers are limited. I'm afraid this is all we can do." Millie's like, "Wow, it'd be really nice if our powers were so limited."
Yeah, like, and you could also just, like, get an item or something, I don't know.
Now, here's something important to cover. Now, for most of the game, apart from some parts before Murdaugh himself, I've been running away from just about everything. And the reason I do that is for speed. Like, if I wanted extra safety, I'd fight more encounters, get a few more levels, get a few more stats, etc., etc. But it's something I do. I run away from them because, you know, I enjoy the speedrun nature of video games. For this specific castle, however, you want to run from the monsters no matter what kind of gamer you are. And the reason for this is, one, they are super duper strong. And not that you can't beat them, but two, you have to conserve your health and your MP for the final boss, because none of the Dragon Quest games really recharge you just before the boss. Well, actually, I think Dragon Quest VIII might. I think Dragon Quest V does. But most of them don't. So you're wasting energy that you need for the final boss. And you're about as strong as you're gonna get. But most importantly, you do not get to keep the experience you got as you went through the dungeon once you start up a post-game file, so it's really just kind of a waste of time.
Well, it's kind of a waste of time and a waste of resources on the developer's end, because they just made all those encounters and people just run away from them because the game doesn't do them any favors.
Precisely. Well, I'm not sure it would be a waste of developer resources. I think some people just fight the monsters anyway out of a sense of honor. But pragmatically speaking, it's certainly not what you want to do.
It's fair enough, and I just like to point out that you would have to do that every time, like solve every single puzzle every time if you lived in this castle. So that's pretty cool.
Indeed. Well, I mean, he is Mortimer. You know, master of the bouncy trampolines.
Ah, yes, of course.
Now, that Book of Dragons. That is a special item. Whosoever has that in their inventory can use it up to turn into a dragon class. The dragon class gives a lot of really good stat modifiers. Like, I think Carver is a warrior, which gives 10% to HP. I think dragon gives 40% to HP. That or 30%. I think it's 40 though. So, it's a super strong item. And once we get out of this place, we're gonna use that dragon book on someone. And then once the post-game starts up and we get that book back, we're gonna raise a whole bunch of dragon class PCs. And they're gonna know these 0 MP moves once we grind enough. Like Cold Breath. It does 180 to 220 ice damage to all enemies and costs 0 MP. Like, it is amazing. It's part of why we want to get out of this castle once we get all the items.
That just sounds like how are the enemies going to stand up to that?
They don't. Which is why it takes like 270 battles to master it, and also why you have to wait until the very end of the game to get any of them.
So, it's essentially just getting Mewtwo for this game.
Yeah. It's gonna be super important for the post-game.
Why is that? Do you have to have the move to be able to complete the post game?
No, but we need really strong attacks to kill the optional boss in under 20 turns, because remember, that's a requirement for getting the secret ending. Also, we're
There's a secret ending?
Yeah?
There's a secret ending. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then here's another Book of Dragons, after we give him 90 or more mini-medals. He has a secret item if we give him 100, but it's not worth it at all. And then we're gonna save real quickly, so that we don't lose all of our progress once we start the post-game file. The remakes just auto-saves everything you did. So you won't lose any progress regardless, but the Super Nintendo wasn't quite as well designed. And then for this, we're gonna make Carver a dragon. We don't want that for the post-game though. So if you're playing the remakes, you want to... Well, actually you would make him a dragon, never mind. But as far as the Super Nintendo goes, it only has a limited amount of Books of Dragons, whereas the remakes, you can buy them easily. So what you want to do is make Carver a dragon before you fight Mortimer, but after you saved. That way, when the credits roll and you get all your items back, you'll have the Book of Dragons back, and you won't be a dragon anymore, and you get to use it on the guys you want to be dragons. If that makes any sense.
Well, the way I understand it is that you can only use it once, and then, like, for the next battle, that's the only time that it's applied. The effect.
Oh
right?
no, the effect is permanent. It's just you can't apply it to anyone else.
Oh, okay, so it's a permanent transformation.
Yeah. And then we're gonna use all our remaining money on Yggdrasil leaves. We are gonna need a lot of Yggdrasil leaves for the final boss. So mainly we want them on Carver and Lizzie. Carver is also gonna want 3 weapons. He'll want the Miracle Sword for its regen, the Ahela's Hammer for its auto-critting chances, and the Metal King's Sword for pure damage. Now, let me cover this other part real quick. Near the Prison of Sorrow, you can find these enemies called the Metal King Slimes. And if you're playing the remakes, they are a great source of experience, because you have unlimited sands of time to rewind the battle. So if they run away before you can kill them, you can just rewind to the very start of the fight, and you can just keep trying with your Hela's hammers and auto-critting moves until you put them down. And they'll give like 30,000 experience and give a bunch of levels. So if you wanted to grind for more stats, that's something you could do.
Okay, I think I have an idea of what Mortimer's gonna look like. And that's because of the castle. There's a figure that looks like it's sitting on top of it.
Huh, I'll have to look at that. Next time on Dragon Quest VI. God bless you, everyone.
Okay, see you, YouTube. Until next time.